guys, it's Jazzys. Today I'm here with the beautiful, the stunning, and the best reporter in the game, Miss Taylor Rooks.
Oh, Jazzy, it is so good to see you, and thank you for that very kind intro because I think that I'm with the best reporter in the game, so I'll take it.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm really good, tired after the Super Bowl, but happy to be here, no complaints.
Right, the game was amazing yesterday, and I felt like both teams really did their best, and they tried their best to win.
Absolutely. I think both teams played hard. There was talent on both sides, but the Chiefs just had a bit of that edge, and I think Patrick Mahomes is really cementing himself as, the guy in this league.
Right, and I felt like both teams, they really worked hard to win that game.
Yeah, definitely. And you were at the Super Bowl week. You did opening night. How did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, that was really fun for me. I got to interview Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Patrick Mahomes, the Kelsey brothers, and I was around on media day, and we were having so much fun, and it was amazing.
Good. I love to see it.
Thank you. Well, I want to know, especially in a male-dominated industry like sports reporting, how does it feel to represent us girls at such a high level?
It feels really, really good because, one thing that I always tell young girls and women is I think that in this industry, people want to tell you a lot of the time, that you are a woman, but it's important to know that, your defining characteristic isn't just that you're a woman. Your defining characteristic is that you're really good at the job. And it's important that people also see you for what you do and how well you do it and not just what you are. And so it's really just telling myself that too, but also knowing how important it is to have female voices, right? To know that women in this space are not just additive to the space, they're very necessary to the space. I think that we make sports smarter and better, and we just add things that are really, really important to the landscape. So I love it. I think that the more women that can be in sports, the better.
Right, and I think that's extremely important, especially girls in this industry, that we have professionalism and self-respect, and I want to congratulate you on all your success. I mean, I've been seeing you. You've been doing a great job. You've been interviewing some of the best NFL and NBA players, and I really want to congratulate you, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm proud of you, too. I think that we are super lucky. I always say we're really lucky that we literally get paid to just be ourselves, and we get paid to have conversations and talk to people about themselves. We get to be there for, athletes on their happiest days,
Right.
when they are winning and when they are having these really big moments. But then we also get to hear their perspective on their worst days, and on the days where maybe they lost, and to be able to be a vehicle for their voices and, really allow them to put their thoughts into perspective is something that I don't take lightly. And it's truly what I feel like is my calling. So I'm just happy that I get to do it every day, and I'm sure you feel the same. So thank you.
Oh, yes, I do feel the same. And I feel like representing us girls is also extremely important.
Yeah, definitely. When I was growing up, I remember just seeing really like Pam Oliver and Robin Roberts when I was trying to see people that looked like me. But now that there are so many different types of women, specifically Black women and women of color, it just adds something that wasn't always there when I was growing up. And I know that representation is a thing that we talk about a lot and kind of throw around, but you really cannot underestimate the importance of seeing yourself in someone. Right. So even when I see you, there are young girls that are looking at you and saying, wait, not only do I look like her, I am her. I'm her age. I talk like her. I like a lot of the things that she likes. So you may not realize it right now, but you are that representation too, to show younger boys and girls that they can do it. And you don't have to be a certain age. You don't have to look a certain way. When you're good at a job, you can attack that job regardless of age, circumstance, gender, color, anything. So I just think it's really important that we're seeing so many examples of that, including yourself.
Thank you so much for that. And I feel like everyone should be able to know that. And I want to thank you so much for those amazing words.
No problem at all. I mean it.
Well, what are some of the difficulties you faced when you were starting out your career as a reporter, and how are you able to overcome them?
I would say when you're starting out, you just hear no a lot. Like I would just hear the word no a lot because people don't believe that you can do it until they see that you do it. but you don't get in the position to do it until somebody gives you that opportunity to do it. Right. So a lot of it is you just creating these opportunities for yourself, grinding, hustling, like you're doing, figuring out how to do those interviews. So the biggest obstacle was really people saying no. And I tell this story all the time, but when I was 19 years old, I drove from University of Illinois to Orlando for NBA All-Star Week. And it was my first time that I was like ever doing media, and I heard a lot of no's, a lot of people not wanting to do the interview, but there was two people that did. One was Kevin Durant and one was LeBron, and KD was the first person that told me yes, stopped, went out of his way and did an interview, and that's when I was 19, and I just remember that very first big yes and what it meant to my career and what it meant to my confidence. So the obstacles really, it's like, now I can say I have heard yes more than I have heard no, but when you're starting out, you hear no so much, and you just have to keep on moving forward until you get, those kind of positive affirmations that show you that you can do it.
Right, I could definitely agree with that because when I was also starting out, I heard a lot of no's as well. Coach Popovich was my first ever interview, and like you said, I remember that interview because, well, it was very important to me. Mm-hmm. And I know that some people they might not want to do they might not want to hire you for certain things because they don't believe that you could do it, like you said. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that I've had the opportunity many times to interview the people that I've interviewed, and it really means a lot to me that I've been coming so far in my career, and this is not the last of me.
No, absolutely. I love that. And, you will always probably root for Coach Pop because, he gave you an opportunity at times that you maybe weren't feeling like you had it. And I think that that's really important. There are people in the space that do want to support up and coming journalists. And what I always say, too, is don't ever let somebody just refer to you as a kid reporter or a kid interviewer. You're a reporter and an interviewer. You do the job well. And don't let them try to limit you or put you in a box because of your age. You have done this. You have been in all the rooms. You have interviewed all the people. And know that your ability is always the thing that should come first, right? It's not just what they are maybe seeing from you. It's the work that you've put out. So you're doing all of the right things.
Well, thank you so much. And I also believe that you've been doing great in your career, and that it's great that you were able to overcome those challenges and those difficulties that you have faced when you were first starting out.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm happy too. It's certainly it's an uphill battle, uphill climb, but you make it, and the results always show for themselves.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah.
So as a kid, did you ever think that you would become a reporter? And if so, was that always a passion of yours?
Yes. I I'd posted on Instagram these videos I have of myself when I was 7 years old. I would interview myself and answer the question, but every day I would have a different story. One day I'd be a singer, one day I'd be an actress, one day I'd be a tennis player, and I would write questions for myself, ask them, and then answer. So I have always known that I've wanted to do this, and I've always felt like this would be my life. And I think it's important for people, and women especially, to be able to have that confidence to say, I am not surprised that I was able to accomplish the things that I'm able to accomplish because I've put in the work for a very, very long time. So I've always wanted to do this, and I feel very blessed and very happy that I get to do it every day.
Right, well, it's outstanding how you set a goal for yourself at first when you were really young, and then were able to achieve it over time. Yeah. And look at you now, you came so far in your career, and there's a lot of success that's going to come to you, and I know it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, I hope so. Fingers crossed, right? That's the goal.
Most definitely. So you are so talented as a reporter. So what are some of the ways you have practiced perfecting your speaking skills over the years?
Well, one thing I always tell people is to read. Reading is probably the best thing that you can do, not just as a person, but just as a journalist and somebody who uses words very often, because one of the best ways to be able to portray what you mean is knowing the words that actually mean what you're trying to say. Also reading books to understand thoughts and experiences that maybe you don't have yourself. A lot of times in interviews, I'll pull from things I read, I'll bring up a quote, ask what that maybe means to my subject. So it just expands your mind in a way that helps when you're conversing with others. So I think sometimes reading is even a bit more important than writing, because I think the more you read, that lends to you as a writer, it lends to you as a speaker. So my biggest advice would be to really find out the kind of books you like, the kind of authors you like, and begin to really read and get that new thought in your life.
Right, thank you so much for that advice. And I also like reading. I feel like reading books, especially the most interesting ones, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you read out loud, then you'll be able to perfect the way that you speak when you're in an interview.
Yeah, and also too, like I used to just set up my camera and talk and like learn what to do with my hands, how to do my voice inflection, what my face should look like as I speak. So it's all these really little things that lend to people being really good speakers.
Right. And whenever I'm practicing to get ready for an interview like this, I always practice in front of the mirror, and I'll make sure to like make up some responses that I believe that like I'll make up some answers in my head that I think that the person that I'm interviewing is going to say.
Yeah.
And I'll like try to make up a response on the spot off of what they say.
Yeah, because that also helps with what I think is the most important part of interviewing, which is follow-up questions, right?
Right.
Yes, because, and I think you and I talked about this before, it's that you have to listen to what your subject says so that you can bounce something back to them, as opposed to going to your next question. That only helps, or that only works if you do listen and you can take bites from things that they're telling you. So if you're anticipating, possible answers, that can also help you with those possible follow-ups. So you're doing all the right things.
Thank you so much. Well, you have interviewed so many people in your career. So, as reporters, we all have bucket lists. So I want to know, who's on yours?
Oh my gosh, my bucket list is so long because I want to interview everybody. I would love to do a sit down with Serena Williams. I just love Serena Williams. Michelle Obama, for sure. Tom Brady. I have so many questions. Robin Roberts, just because that's somebody who's been such a major inspiration for me. Same thing with Pam Oliver as well. And then I think probably the best interviewer of all time, even though he's a bit shock jockey, is Howard Stern. I would love to interview Howard Stern and just understand more about how he was able to do the things that he did and get things out of people in such a unique way. Oprah, of course. So, I mean, there's so many people I would like to interview. Russell Westbrook, Asia and I were talking about today. So there's a bunch. I want to interview anybody who has something to say, and I truly mean that.
Well, that's a great bucket list, and I have a similar list as yours as well. So,
Yeah. Who are some of yours that I didn't say?
That you didn't say. Rihanna,
Ooh, it's a good one.
Drake. Actually, aren't you friends with Drake?
Yeah.
You should have put in a good word for me.
Yeah, Drake, do the interview. Yeah, Drake's a hot commodity. I think everybody wants to interview Drake, but he is the most kind, the most generous person. I'm sure if you ever saw him, he would stop for some questions. He's the best.
Right, and well, you basically said everyone that I could think of from the top of my head right now.
Hey, we have some good lists. We'll collab. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Apart from reporting, do you have any cool stuff in store for the future?
Ooh, yeah, I do. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that I can say. What do I have coming up? I mean, of course, we have All-Star Weekend coming up.
Right.
So I'll be doing our NBA Twitter live show after our NBA All-Star Saturday, and then for the second half of the game. I'm also going to be doing sideline for one of the HBCU games that we have on Saturday as well. Then we'll also be doing the Twitter live show for playoffs and things like that. I might have a little cameo coming up in a little movie this summer. We'll see, TBD. But yeah, some fun stuff coming up.
Ooh, I can't wait. And I wish you the best of luck in the future. And I know that you're going to do amazing. Also,
you.
I'm going to look out for that movie.
Oh, for sure. No, it is always so good to see you. So thank you so much for your time and for the pleasure and honor of being on your show. I appreciate it.
No problem. And before we go, can you please share some words of motivation to everyone watching my show?
Yes. I think my words of motivation would be what I always say, which is that being yourself will unlock more doors than anything else. There is only one you, and I think that sometimes when we're in this business, we think that we have to emulate other people in the business to be successful without realizing that the reason that they're successful is because they decided to just be themselves. So the more that you learn about who you are and who you're not, the more you will understand how far you can go. So just really trusting in yourself and your ability and not trying to be anyone other than you is the best thing that you can do in this business and in life in general.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was nice talking to you. And guys, I'm here with the best reporter in the game, Miss Taylor Rooks.
Thank you, Jazzy.
And until next time, jazzing out.